What's happening, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I am guest hosting this morning for Dave, and we've got an awesome show lined up with a really cool guest. I'm very excited to hear from him, all the way from the UK, and I think it's probably early afternoon for him, but it's early for me, 7 a.m. for me. But if you're newer and you're just tuning in for the first time, maybe you've never seen one of our episodes before, a couple quick things, and then we'll dive into our guest for the day. First thing, if you'd like to get a quick text message reminder every time that we go live, you can text the number on the screen here. It's 813-296-8553. You send a text message. The text message should say WUL, and I have my phone in my pocket, and lo and behold, I just got my text message for the day. Boom, there it is. And it just lets you know, hey, we're live, come join us. And we don't sell through this text message platform. You're not going to get a bunch of messages throughout the day. You get one text message on Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern every freaking day. And that's it. There's no other ulterior motives or anything like that. The funny part is we're actually charged based on how many messages we send. So we don't even really want to send you more messages because we're going to go over our limit and then they're going to charge us a bunch of money. And it's not even worth it. So we're only going to send you one message a day. All right. And also, if you want to get any merch, you can hit belegendary.shop right there. You can get legendary hats and shirts and gear and all kinds of cool stuff at belegendary.shop. So if you all who are in the comments could give me a little hand clapping emoji or some sort of like party, maybe like the streamers emoji or some sort of celebratory something. Let's bring on our guest for the day, all the way from the UK. Alex, what time is it over there?
It is 6 minutes past 3 in the afternoon.
Okay. All right, perfect.
For a while, unlike yourself.
All right, so I don't know where Birkenhead is. Where is that?
So it's literally just over the water from the famous city of Liverpool. Where the Beatles are from. So yeah, it's literally only about 5 minutes drive. So my accent probably sounds a little bit similar to sort of the Scouse accent, as it's called, but no, I say I'm from Birkenhead, so to say. So yeah, I'm from Birkenhead.
Okay. Cool. Right on. Yeah, it was throwing me off a little bit, but that makes sense now. I got it. All right. So bring us into you're 22. Okay. So super young. Bring us into your world a little bit. How did you find Legendary? What got you looking for like some sort of way to make money online, or did you happen to stumble upon it, or were you looking for it?
So I'd say I've been looking for a way to make money online for a few years now. And I've tried loads of stuff. So I tried like the crypto, I tried, investing into shares, I tried Forex, the futures, I even tried a little bit of real estate. And so I have been looking for a few years. And after my last sort of unsuccessful venture into cryptocurrency, I've still got some, so to say, but I started doing the futures and stuff. And then I sort of got an advertisement on affiliate marketing. And looking back now, it wasn't with Legendary, it was with another company. And it got me really excited. I'd done a webinar and I was like, I had my card ready to go. I was like, right, get me signed up. I want to know more about affiliate marketing. Yeah. And so I started doing that and I told a few people what I was doing. And I was doing it out alongside work. So I was a process technician until just before Christmas.
Okay.
So I was doing it sort of after work on the weekend, but I wasn't really progressing as fast as I should have been. And it was, this sort of affiliate marketing training course, it was with sort of, I'd say they're probably a bit of a competitor, really. I won't mention them, but they specialize in organic Facebook groups, which I know a lot of affiliates still do with Legendary. And at the time, I didn't want no one in work and none of my family to know what I was doing. And I didn't have I had a mindset block. My confidence wasn't there. And, I had a lot of people on work on Facebook. So I didn't want to do it, sort of thing. So, one thing led to another. I had tasks to set up my business. And I sort of just took a little bit of a back foot with it, and I started looking at YouTube. And I'm a sucker for good copywriting, and as a lot
Mhm.
of other affiliates probably are. And I just started doing different things, and the shiny object syndrome sort of kicked in, and it was then that I stumbled across Legendary.
Sure.
So obviously, a lot of YouTubers have got the big plaque in the background, and I was like, "What is this plaque everyone's got?" So I looked into it, and then that's when I started promoting Legendary and done the 15-day challenge, and then the rest is sort of history.
Wow.
So
I
that's
also I wanted to just say, you might call it shiny object syndrome, but to be honest, at 22 years old, we should probably stop using that term. I think it's just called curiosity,
yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
just curiosity and like just feeling things out. It's sort of like when I visited when I visited Italy, and went to, I think, Florence and visited a few museums about Leonardo da Vinci. And the in some of the museums, they would say nowadays, Leonardo probably would have been diagnosed with ADHD or ADD because of all of the different things and inventions that he came up with and never finished.
yeah,
Everything that, you walk into his museum and it's all these models and things from these crazy inventions that no one had ever thought of, flying machines and all kinds of random crap that like he developed, some of the blueprints for, and he got 70% of the way through and quit and just got bored and was like, all right, I'm on to the next thing. And,
mhm,
nowadays it's just interesting how people are like, um, we sort of overdiagnose things, shiny object syndrome. It's like a fun marketing term,
yeah,
but I think sometimes, with people, I just feel like, I stopped using that term for myself because I was like, I am that kind of person. I'm not nearly as brilliant, not even remotely close to as brilliant as Leo, but I'm curious. I like to dabble and try things out for a little bit, and I find, after trying 10 things, I kind of find one or two things that really stick. But
mhm,
so anyway, that was a little side tangent, but just you don't have to feel guilty or shameful or something for starting something and then quitting.
mhm,
Dave's been on this big rant. I don't know if you've heard him talking about it lately about how, just learning how to start something is a really valuable skill. And he's got
yeah,
little kids who he's trying to teach them basically how to just start things. How do you start things and find something new and start it and without knowing anything about it? And it's
mhm,
really like, when you think about it, a pretty overwhelming thing to think, to consider, I guess. But um,
yeah.
so
I
so go ahead.
I was just going to say, I sort of beat myself up about it, to be honest. And when you sort of take your foot off the gas a bit. And I was sort of thinking about it to sort of raise it on, to speak about it on the podcast. And I was thinking a good way to sort of look at it is, if you look at your week's performance and you might not have done as best as you had last week, you've just got to zoom out. It's like looking, say, at the FTSE 100 or something. If you're looking at, the week, then, you might go down and next week you might be up. But if you zoom out, you are on the journey, and you've got to enjoy the journey. Like, the man or the woman who enjoys the journey and the walking will get further than the man or the woman who enjoys the destination. So yeah,
Mhm.
you've got
Zoom
to
out. I like
zoom
that.
out, you know.
Yeah, zoom out, get a little perspective, not be so, I don't know how to say it, but just not so hyper, obsessed with just today and right now, and zoom out and see a little bit bigger.
Mhm.
I wish I could have done that a little bit more back in the day, because I started when I was about 20, 22 or whatever. And
Mhm.
10 years later, it's just 22 feels like a different life to me. It doesn't even feel like the same life. It's so long ago. And I'm 32. And most people who are like, middle aged, like 60 years old or something, are like, dude, like you're an infant, you're a baby. And
Yeah.
and so I think that helps give a little bit of perspective, Because I think, beating ourselves up when we're young, like, just, I don't know what it is, if it's nature or nurture. I don't know how we do that, but I would do that too. And feel like I should be, light years further than where I was or whatever. And so it's just
Mm.
kind of like, I don't know. I feel like at every age, at 50, you're still able to reinvent yourself and have 20,
Yeah,
30, 40 good years, like, I just think the game has changed a little bit in that arena, and I like that perspective. Just, hey, just zoom out a little. That's a good, like, therapy thing. Like,
yeah.
just zoom out a little bit. Give yourself a little breathing room here.
Mhm.
Um,
I think the
and
hard
cool.
for
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, Matt. I think the hard thing for us affiliates are as well, like it's a sort of mindset block. As we have got an audience, and when you take, say, your foot off the gas, as I said before, you sort of might think, oh, well, this, my audience are waiting for the next video or the next, batch of content, and if you fall out of rhythm, you've just got to think like, but I will be back and I will be there again, and you've got to sort of look right. Well, I haven't give up, but there's more to come, and I think you've just got to remind yourself and trust that you will return to it, and if something crops up, just don't beat yourself up about it. Zoom out, as we
Right.
say. You know.
Totally. Totally. What So you get started in this training, and it sparks, even I don't know if it's a competitor or what. I don't. There's so many different people out there that it doesn't really matter. But you basically, it sparks something in you, right? So what the per and lots of people start our training and don't do anything, and for some people it was just the catalyst for them to try to look or find something online, or for whatever reason it just didn't stick, and it was just like this got my wheels turning. So that training did that for you, right?
Yeah.
It sort of got the wheels turning a little bit. Then you discover legendary, um and you start, what's your experience as you're going through the challenge? What I'm curious what you thought about, days 1 through 15 of the challenge, and what that process was like. Was it meaningful to see some of the tech setup? Was it meaningful to have some of the mindset stuff? Was it everything combined? Like, what was your takeaway?
So I want to say, first of all, the education is absolutely top notch with the course, and I do promote it very honestly when I'm promoting and speaking to people in direct messaging and the rest of it. But on a personal note for me, which a lot of affiliates might not have the same story, was because I went through this other course, I was looking for sort of the offer, and my ideal was I wanted to be able to send my audience or my followers to a community where I know they'd be nurtured and they'd be looked
Mm,
after properly. Like, I couldn't imagine nothing worse than promoting a
mm,
product and then getting all these problems back. And I know that's the beauty about affiliate marketing, is you don't
yeah.
have to handle customer complaints and all the rest of it. But I'd say you are still sort of liable if you're sending people down a route which you don't believe in yourself. So I knew
Right.
as soon as I was sitting the challenge, like I was sort of like sitting the challenge thinking, oh, where are my affiliate links? Because I was ready to promote the course, so to say. But when my experience with the challenge was, this is exactly where I want my audience to go, and I know that they'd be receiving great training. So yeah, I did learn a lot from the challenge, but for me it was just the confirmation that this is what I want to promote, and this is a good community of people. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and it's definitely not a requirement that somebody, be like, hey, I want to sign up as an affiliate for your company or whatever. Not at all. In fact, very few people who come through our challenge sign
Mm.
up as an affiliate. Probably, I don't know this for sure, but probably in the range of like less than 5%. Probably much less than that. I just don't want to quote something I'm not sure on, but um, I know for the amount of people who purchase our challenge in a month, we do not have that many affiliates, not even close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like finding something, and that's usually how it goes, right? They kind of learn the business model and they look around and they're trying to find something that they enjoy, like, and feel good about, right? That's the main thing is like what you just said is I didn't want to like, send people who follow me to just nothing or something that's bad or something that's that I don't believe in or feel good about or something.
Mhm.
And then you know what typically happens over time? Um, the foundation gets laid, right? They start
Mhm.
taking action like you have. They start making a little bit of money like you have. They begin to understand the logistics of content creation and lead generation, and the business sort of comes together. And then you know what happens is they either one keep going down that route, which is cool, or they start selling their own product, or they start coaching, or they start consulting, and they stick in the four business models, usually in our core four business models. And what I find, at least, is that they typically sort of find their legs and find what fits them best, and that process takes a little bit. And during that process, sometimes people will give me feedback or say about our company, oh, I felt lost after I got done with the challenge, or oh, I felt. But the truth is that like really discovering somebody's entrepreneurial fit and discovering somebody's entrepreneurial drive and motivation and what's going to really feed them takes a lot it takes time, it takes energy, it takes hearing different voices, listening to audiobooks, listening to trainings, like the thought process that somebody would purchase a $7 challenge, $7, and somehow magically just poof, like I'm suddenly a perfect entrepreneur and I've got my business all set up and I'm running a business.
Mhm.
Um, I think that that's a little bit misguided. As good as our challenge is, it's
Yeah.
$7.
I
It's like
I struggle with that, to be fair, because obviously, I'm sort of promoting the course to, my audience, saying like, how great it is and all the different things that they'll get on the course. And then I've had people sort of say, well, $7 seems a bit too small of a price, and they're questionable about the price for the amount of value that they get in the course. And I sort
sure.
of have to say, well, yeah, it is hard to believe, but like trust me, and then sort of back it up again and reiterate what they'll get. So and $7 as well in the UK, it's like £5, so it's even cheaper. It sounds even cheaper in the UK. I'm like, yeah, it's only a fiver. That's what we call £5, like a fiver. So it's it is hard to sort of justify the price because it is over you're over given, and yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, I don't know. We've even like I've personally struggled with that before. We've had conversations about raising the price. Maybe we will someday. Um, but to me also, I feel like it's a quick explanation to somebody where, it's just like, hey, look, we just want you to get a taste. It's
Mhm.
really like you walk into a restaurant and you get an appetizer, right? And the
Yeah.
main entree is our business blueprints, and our main course, is maybe like our affiliate marketing business blueprints or something like that. But the truth is like for people, I think for people who just want to get a taste of what exactly is going on, how exactly would I build this business? How exactly are people without any product, without any coaching, without any sort of physical or digital product of their own, how are they starting to make money? This is crazy. How does this freelance digital marketing thing work? And I think for $7, it's uh it's a little bit crazy. I feel like sometimes that we get refunds. We don't get a lot of them, but I just think to myself, I'm like, man, I can't imagine for the amount of value and stuff that's inside of that course that somebody could
Mhm.
look at it and be like, nope, that was not worth $7.
Yeah.
It's a little bit
Yeah.
like, really? Like, have you seen the things that you bought for $7 in the last year? Like, it's insane. We should probably just raise the price because of inflation, honestly. We should probably raise it to $10 or something so it's more in line. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that that's real. I think that that's real what you said about the price being too low. And this sounds I feel like it almost sounds conceited or something, but there is an element of this which you're kind of hitting on, that it can feel like too low of a price. Like it
Mhm.
can feel like it's like the price and the value and whatever else doesn't match up or align. Um, but I think it gives room for people to try it out and get a taste, and then also just see just also just kind of see what other upsells are going to be available, and it sort of it honestly it leads the mind to think, oh, there's probably more for sale here. There's no way that they're actually going to make a business out of selling something for $7. And anybody who has any business sense at all would be like, of course there's obviously going to be more things that they sell and offer. Like any good business, a t-shirt company doesn't sell a single t-shirt. They probably sell 50 of them. And
Mhm.
when you go check out, they're going to offer you upsells on their socks and
Yeah.
on their hoodies. And, that's
Mhm.
how business is run. Um, but anyway, so through your journey, I'm really curious about your journey of getting into content creation, of producing some digital content. Because I feel like your content itself, Alex, it looks really good. Like your
Yeah.
content is well produced, and you came on here feeling a little bit nervous, but that feels different to me than what I experience in your videos, because your some of your editing and some of your cutting and stuff like that, like you do a really good job. And I'm going to tell everybody who's watching right now, and in just a couple minutes I'll put his TikTok up so you can go watch his videos. But so just hang tight until we do that. But dude, your stuff is so good. Like how did you just learn those skills by yourself? Was it just a lot of time working on it? And do you do most of your editing in TikTok, or do you do it on a different video editor?
So when we'll go back to the 15 challenge dead quick, and when I was going through the 15 challenge, it was your video actually, when you were saying the recreation strategy, and pick the virality, the viral videos, and sort of recreate them, and I sort of, you got to put your sort of personal spin on them. And I say to everyone, you've got to be creative. And I think with my videos, I'm sort of still sort of trying to find my style. So I
Sure.
enjoy making the longer form videos more, and more of like how to and step by step. So, the thing with my channel is I'm also showing people how to do other side hustles. So I'm sort of keeping it open and keeping the options open to my audience, and saying, yeah, affiliate marketing's there. And I do recommend everyone to do affiliate marketing, because there's
Mm,
so many benefits. And I just say, it's for me, it was my personal choice, but I sort of say, well, you can do this as well if it's not for you. And the problem with that is I probably don't have a lot of, it's not a majority affiliate marketing audience. So for
mm,
example, my most viral video, I think it's about 800,000 views. That's nothing to do with affiliate marketing. And I sort of got
mm,
that off YouTube, and then sort of put a personal spin. And I like to put like tips in my content as well. So, given, I do believe in giving value. And I think once you give value, and you're building that audience and that trust element, then the money will look after itself. And I
mm.
think a problem with a lot of affiliates coming into it is, and I'm not, it does definitely work. And for all the viewers, you can do this, but don't just basically show people, sort of teach them as well, and give that sort of how to element. It's all well and good. And I've tried, you can have a look at my um, page, and you'll see I've sort of done a little bit of that as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, if you're
Yeah.
teaching people, then, you're gaining that trust element, and you're building a tribe. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's really big. That I hope everybody heard that. that whole part about teaching people how to do something, giving little tips and tidbits and nuggets. That that is the one theme of content in short form video content that I have seen over and over and over again go viral, and it actually builds in some goodwill as people are watching your content. It's not just virality, it's engagement, and then it's also just a feeling. You're conveying a feeling to somebody that, hey, I'm going to give you this for free. It's sort of like the Gary Vee thing. I'm going to give you this for free. And later on, sometime down the road, I'm going to ask you to click a link or to purchase something or to enter your name and email address. But first, let me give you a few tips, right? And the way I always explain this, we do this thing called a decade in a day. And when somebody buys our blueprints, they can go and come on live with us for 7 hours on a Friday. And the way that I explain it is basically, starting somebody out with a quick hitting hook, right? Bringing them in with a really powerful hook, something to grab their attention. Whoa, like, wow, okay, interesting. I'm going to show you how. That's a great start to a video. I'm going to show you how to, and then you give them whatever you're going to show them how to do, right? Now, if I was going to do something with dog training, or let's say I'm a dog trainer, I would say, here's how to, and then I'm going to insert some sort of really emotional topic, right? Like, you could say, if your dog screams at the mailman every time he comes, right? Every time he shows up at your front gate, well, here's how to get your dog to stop doing that as soon as today.
Yeah.
Right. And then you cut the video and you go to, you and your dog out in the front yard, and here's sort of what you do. But starting out with these how-to videos, the first thing that it does is, if you start the video with that, the very first thing that it does is going to get you the right audience. And some people have debated me on this. I completely disagree, and we've got years of history now to show that they're wrong. But the reason that you should start with something like that is because the people who are then going to watch that are people who are interested in it. They're going to get a little bit of learning lesson from that. If they're not interested in learning how to train their dog to stop barking at the mailman, they're going to keep scrolling. Cat
Yeah.
owners, they're going to be like, I don't care. I don't have a dog. So they're immediately going to be gone. And the algorithm's going to start really sorting out, right? Like, who's in this dog training sort of interest level, right? And then you
Yeah.
give them a little bit of, all right, now let me show you step 1, step 2, step 3. And then you got to be very specific at the end. You've got to say something like, hey, there's a little follow button right here, and I've got a lot more tips coming your way for free, right?
Yeah.
They start following you, and then, a portion of that following will start tapping a link in your bio, and then a portion of those people will purchase whatever you're going to sell them or recommend to them, right? So I think that style and that thing is really solid. Do you do most of your editing in TikTok?
So no, what was I doing first? I was using an app called Power Director 365, and
Cool.
that's just basically, it's a separate app, and it's quite easy to use. So I was using that, and I was finding I was dropping a little bit of quality on the upload. So then I branched out to Adobe's Premiere Pro
Mm-hmm.
and started learning how to do that. But that's another sort of entity, like that's another skill you have to learn, and
Yeah.
eventually you probably want to outsource that, to be honest, and sort of create my videos, and then sort of employ someone to say, right, can you edit it, and sort of familiarize themselves with my style of editing, sort of thing. But I've started to learn the Premiere Pro, and you can export that really well into TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of good, easy tutorials on YouTube surrounding that. And I've recently purchased like a better camera rather than an iPhone. So that's starting to. I'm still working it out, and that's another thing you've got to learn, sort of thing. So you don't need a camera, but you don't need the best software. You can do it all in house But I just thought, you know what, I want to have a bit of fun with the editing, even though it does take up a little bit of time. And then just sort of, yeah, become more tech savvy on the editing side of things. And like you said, with, you know, thanks very much for saying you like my editing and my content. But what was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought. I've lost my train of thought. But
It's
yeah,
all
thanks.
good. It was about the editing. It was about the editing stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like what came to mind as you were saying that for me was when you start editing videos, right? So for instance, you might take a training course like Legendary or something, right? And you might you might begin the process of learning how to create these types of videos, or create jump cut style videos. Then from there, and you can probably validate this, but my guess is from that point of sort of learning the high level strategy and realizing, oh my gosh, like there's content creators out there who are affiliate marketers, course creators, things like that, who are making so much money on the internet from TikTok and YouTube and things like this. That once you started creating that content, my guess is you probably spent a lot of time on YouTube and researching and watching different instructional videos on how specifically to do a little cut in your video, or how to, hyper zoom. And you probably watched a bunch of other people's content who does that too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
And
just
the
a little,
reason for that is because, sorry to cut you off. I'll just finish my thought here. The reason for that is because entrepreneurship is it's about being an engineer. It's about being a problem solving engineer who you figure out, okay, I gotta figure out some way for me to be on this screen and for this piece of content to be really engaging and capture people's attention. And now I've got to figure this out. And you start learning how to Google and YouTube certain things to find what you need. And then you suddenly put together this video in the TikTok app and you're like, oh, all right, this looks cool. Like, let's post, let's see what happens. And in your case, you get hundreds of thousands of views. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think just off the back of that, of, the problem solving, like this sort of industry and, getting into marketing and entrepreneurship, you're coming against problems every day. Like you might, the old saying, you learn something new every day. Well, you learn something new every 5 minutes. And it's like when you're sitting there at your desk or wherever you work, you keep coming against problems. And it's so easy when you're not motivated to come up against the problem. You've tried to fix it about 3-4 times. You still can't get your head around it. I was doing something yesterday and I just couldn't get my head around it. So I just ended up, walking away, taking a few minutes. And, it's easy for me to come back and say, oh, well, I'll do something else now. I'll do another part of the business, which you have to cater to. You've got to sort of have that resilience to just keep trying to solve this problem, and use your resources, use the forum, and there's always people to ask in on the Facebook groups and that sort of things. And sometimes it might just take, like I say, put it on Facebook, message someone in the industry, and they'll just give you a hand. And the thing about Legendary is everyone is happy to help. And if you're really struggling and you can't solve it on your own, just ask someone, and I'm sure you'll find the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a positive outlook on this whole journey, right? I mean, we've had so many people who've purchased our products, and I've just seen this over the years, not just at Legendary, who they'll come on or they'll come into the community and just, oh, I couldn't get any answers. Oh, I couldn't get a hold of this person or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the truth of a lot of times, and sometimes, sure, maybe they couldn't get a hold of somebody, but the truth in a lot of these cases, and what happens is that people buy something and they have this sort of pessimistic or victim mentality, right? And so they're looking for ways in which they can be a victim in life or in business. And so they sort of create an atmosphere for themselves where they're more likely to be a victim, or they're more likely to feel like a victim. So maybe let's say that you're my advisor, right? You're my business plan advisor, and I'm feeling this way. So when I want to reach out to you, I only send you one email, right?
Mhm.
And I don't follow up at all. I don't send you another email a couple days like, hey, just wanted to check. Did you get my first email? Right. I only send that one email and I don't get a response. I don't hear back, or you missed the email or something, right? And I go and I feel like, oh, see, I didn't get the support I needed. I didn't, and that's sort of I learned a really good principle 10 years ago from a book called The 4 Hour Work Week. And what he said is an entrepreneur bends the world to their liking, not the other way around, right?
Mhm.
You have to, and I've said this to so many people in Legendary, people who've purchased our challenge, and immediately almost every single one of them will write back to me and say, I hadn't thought of it like that. That makes sense. And then they keep going, right? But when you understand that the world is in flux, things are moving and shifting. People are people can be, their minds can be changed.
Yeah.
Facebook deactivates your ad account. Well, there's some human who wrote the code for the AI that deactivated your account, who they can look back at it and fix your account. Even if
Mm.
they say it's final. I've had so many people write to me and say, well, they said it's final and nothing can be done. And I
Mhm.
said, keep pushing them. Nothing's final in life. Nothing,
Yeah. No.
right? Like nothing's final. There's people who have been on death row who are, basically they were sentenced to the death penalty, who then eventually got out. Like
Mhm.
nothing in life is final. There's always a way. And I think with that level, that's my takeaway from you and your attitude today is like, you got to figure it out
Yeah.
somehow, some way you can figure it out.
And I think when we're starting off, we don't have this mindset, and we're not always trying to, when we come up against a problem, it is easy to sort of, go and grab a biscuit or something like that and just walk away and forget about it. But you've got to, your brain sort of doesn't like to be uncomfortable, and when you're starting off and you're setting up a business, it can be hard, and you can put yourself through a little bit of stress sometimes, and your brain might recognize that and say, well, I don't want to get into that stress, so I'll walk away, and that's the easy option. But like we saying, you've got to just keep battling through it, and when you do eventually find that solution and the answer to what you've been trying to solve, there is a real sense of joy in it, and that's the what I love about the journey is that you get a real job satisfaction on getting stuff done. It's like when I worked in my old work, it'd be right. I was a process technician, so I'd just be my job to keep the machines running, and you'd have every answer in front of you. So you'd only have to press these buttons, and occasionally you'd do something else. And it's probably my brain sort of still getting used to the new problem solver and the engineering, as you said before.
Mm,
Yeah,
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 absolutely. It takes a little bit of time, but it's a learned skill, and you become really good at solving problems. What
Mhm.
what for somebody who's, I'll let you have the last word today. For somebody who's out there who's just got started and they're sort of in that discovery mode that you were in when you were just sort of learning and figuring out this whole like business model and how do I start this? What encouragement would you give to those people who are watching today, and what would you say to them?
I'd say trust the process, believe in the process. It does work. Um, Off the back of what I was saying before, don't sort of don't give into the shiny object syndrome, and don't look for other things to do. Trust the process, follow the program. Whether you're just starting off on the challenge or you bought the blueprints, it does work, and just believe. And as hard as it can get, and it might take a few weeks or if even a few months. Everyone's different, but you will get there. And as soon as you start seeing results, then that's the ignition to keep on going and believe in yourself. Yeah.
Totally. I love it, Alex. Thank you so much for everything today. And If
Welcome.
you want to reach out to us, you can hit me up via email. You can hit Dave or Roxy or whoever. We'd love to hear back from you.
Great. Fantastic. Thanks
I'm
very
going to
much.
put up your, thank you for coming on. Thanks for taking the time. I'll put up your TikTok here, and I'll let people give you a follow and find you on TikTok.
Oh yeah. Use my content. Get inspiration if you want. You know,
Cool.
you're welcome. You're
I
welcome.
love it.
Cool. So yeah, thanks for having me, Matt, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Sounds
See you
great.
later.
See
Great.
you, Alex. All right, guys, here's his TikTok. It's digital profiting. So digital profiting, at digital profiting, DIGITALPROFITING. You can find him on TikTok. Go give him a follow. Let him know you saw him on the show, and hit the like on his videos. If you see him pop up, give him some love, and someday, you know, if you're on this show and we're sharing your TikTok, you know, he and everybody else here will do the same for you. So, outside of that, if you would like to be featured on the show, there's a form you can fill out. It's legendarymarketer.com/featured. And the reason that we're doing that is mostly just because there's a lot of people who come in our community, thousands of people every single month. Thousands and thousands of people purchase our challenge, go through our training, and there's no way to keep up with these people. There's no way to, I don't have any clue what most of you are doing on a day-to-day basis in your business, or the results that you guys are producing. So we would love to hear from you. First of all, we'd love to hear what you're up to. We'd love to hear how the training has impacted you. And if it makes sense, we'd love to feature you on the show. It's legendarymarketer.com/featured. It's going to take you to a Google form, and it'll have a few questions. It's nothing crazy. It'll only take you a few minutes to fill out. So, all right, guys, we're out of here for Tuesday, April 26th. We'll be back here tomorrow. I'll be back here at 10 a.m. Eastern, same time, same place. See you guys.